Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If this is your first visit with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to view any of our over 500 videos that we have arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both entertaining and useful to watch. If you have been here before but you have not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. Today we're going to address one of the most common issues in woodworking when we're using table saws or miter saws like the one here next to me, and that is the zero clearance issue. So stick around and we're going to talk about that and a very nifty solution that it is probably the easiest way to achieve zero clearance and improve the accuracy of your cut. One of the common issues with table saws, as you can see, this is substantially wider than the 1/8 inch of the curve of the blade, and you can see the blade here. Can you see the blade here? So you can see there is a big space, right? And especially if you're cutting something very small, you're risking that small piece falling in here and then coming out due to the blade and creating problems. And in addition, a zero clearance device, often we can make a new plate like that, and I've made one before. I'm going to put a card up in the corner to show you how to do it. But the problem is that when you do those, you're very limited to using this specific blade, right? That's blade specific. So if you use something else, you need to have multiple plates, etc. Also, I have the kniving knife here attached, and I'm not sure if that's visible or not, is it?
Or a riving knife.
Riving knife, what did I say?
Kniving knife.
Kniving knife? Ah, that's a new term. And zero clearance plates do not work with riving knives. So that is another consideration that you might have. So if you don't have a table saw, but you have a miter saw, there is the same problem, and really the big problem with that, and as you can see, this is even bigger, right? This is a huge gap. And one of the problems, of course, is that you do not know where the blade goes. In other words, where the blade exactly will cut, right?
Right.
As it's obvious here. In a miter saw, it might be even more difficult. The reason it is that way, by the way, is because the miter saw turns 45 degrees and it wants to accommodate the blade tilting. So you could make, with using plywood, another plate to sit here to have a zero clearance, but then you're sacrificing some of the cut size because this is the biggest cut that the saw can make. I don't know if you can come on the side. So as you can see, when I lift it, I lose some of the cut size. I need to be on the side. See, this is the biggest cut, right? Because you see that's the most blade. So when I lift that, I lose part of that cut. As you can see, it becomes smaller. So you don't really want to sacrifice that. So the solution I found that even the most novice user can use is this zero clearance tape. We are not sponsored by this manufacturer, this tape, and there are many manufacturers, but when I saw this solution, I thought it was brilliant. I wish I had it in my early woodworking days, when creating jigs and creating zero clearance plates was simply above my skill level. I just couldn't do it. But I wanted some way of knowing exactly where my blade cuts. So we're going to show you how to install one of these, and then we're going to tell you our overall impressions and our closing thoughts. So stick around. So to save material, we cut one tape in two pieces because it is substantially long, and they do that so you have plenty of material no matter what size your saw is, right? For our miter saw, we need this size.
Okay.
So we're going to now show you how to install it. So first, clean the surface very well. It does use an adhesive, so you want to make sure that it is nice and clean so your adhesive will take hold. And no matter what saw you use this for, it is the same process. And then after you remove the adhesive, be careful to attach it securely to your saw. The process is the same no matter what, so you want to bridge the gap between the gap between the right and left part of the, what we call that, the opening.
Yeah.
And you cannot see it on the video, but the tape is rather, what we're going to call it, rigid.
Yes, it is very stiff.
In other words, it doesn't feel like a painter's tape. It's a substantial tape, right? And that is the end of the installation. One of the things I like already is show you very clearly where the blade will go, right? I mean, because of the color.
Right.
All right, we're going to fix that. Maybe a screwdriver or something to push it in. That is just because the installation is to bring the blade down and cut your opening. So we're going to do that now for you. Let's go. And as you can see, created a nice opening the size of the blade, right? So let us clean again here because there is a little bit of chip out, and we'll be right back. So as you can see, it has created exactly an opening of the width of our blade, and we don't have any more that wide opening, right, that we used to have there. Okay. And as you can see, it cut exactly, is it visible there? It cut exactly where the tape is, right?
Yep.
So it allows you to have a perfect zero clearance cut, and you don't have to do anything else like in the past we have to measure and remeasure and do all kinds of things, right?
Right.
So with this on, you immediately have the zero clearance that you need always without any Another advantage when you use it on the miter saw is because the surface moves, you don't have to do anything on your tape, right? As you can see, it moves along with it. So it is useful for both when you make your cuts and when you do straight cuts. Now, this tape is long enough, as you can see here, for our table saw 2. And you can do it in a table saw, there is no reason not to. But in our case, I'm not going to because, as I said, I have a riving knife here, which I'm going to keep to avoid kickback. So we're not going to use it at this specific instance. The other positive about that, if you want to use like a dado blade or do a 45 tilt, this of course will cut through this in a different angle, right? But of course you can remove it, it is tape, adhesive. You can remove it and you can add another piece of tape. In our case, one length can give us 2 for this saw.
It could cover it twice.
Right.
If we needed to take it off.
And the kit, this specific kit comes with 5 tapes on that large length. Which means that in our case, for our saw, which is where we're going to use it, in this saw, we have 10 instances, right? Now, if you are only using it in this way, and you're using the right and left angle, you will not have to replace it very often. But even if you make wood inserts, at some point they're going to wear out, right? I mean,
Right.
so it is not that the wood insert will last forever and this will not. And I think this is much easier than cutting and making fit a wood insert. What do you think?
Oh, it's definitely much easier. How how much do these 10 instances cost us?
I think it's $6.
Oh, so pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. And again, we're not here to endorse any specific brand. This happened to be Fast Cap. Again, we are not sponsored by Fast Cap, but there are several companies that they can do it. And frankly, if you can find a hard tape, not a painter's tape, that is a little bit wide and has some stiffness to it, you don't even have to buy this specific one, right? You don't have to buy a specific. It is something that allows you to do the zero clearance. And again, now, if you wanted to cut something on the line, you just put it and you have your perfect zero clearance on either side of the blade, right? So what do you think, Miss Wizard?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So this is our little tip for the day. I don't know if it is a tip, a trick, or what is it? Hack? What do you want to call it? You can call it anything you want, right? I am pleased with this. it definitely is going to make our production, our projects much easier. And with these additional copies I have, I don't think we're going to have to replace it anytime soon.
Yeah, it should last us a good while. We'll have to see if we have to change the angle. That may, take that one piece out.
Well, I think we rarely tilt it though.
Yeah, we don't very often.
We very frequently go left or right for 45s, right? But we very, very rarely tilt it, even though this is the tilt saw. But let's see if we can saw anything with this. But you can see, I don't know if you want to come, you can see it will cut it in a different way, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why tilting the saw actually will require you to do it again.
Yep.
But again, in all the years we had the saw, I think I've tilted it maybe 5 times, 6 times. It is not something I do very frequently. And if that's something you do frequently, maybe you want to do it in the tilted position, right?
Right.
So in any case, I think this is a very, very useful. What material do you think this is? It feels some form of plastic, right?
Yeah.
What material do you think that is?
I'm not sure, but I'm sure the package says what it's made of.
You assume I know where the package is. Saying you cannot do it on a table saw because you have a riving knife on it. That is because I like things to look a certain way. Call me strange that way, right? And I was thinking, I'm here, that I wanted the tape to go from here all the way to here, right? Mm-hmm. But then as we were installing the tape, I realized that doesn't have to be the case. The riving knife is there, you can put the tape here. Mm-hmm. I mean, you will never have the material there anyway because it doesn't cut there, right? I mean, you need to know where the blade cuts here. So if that is a look that doesn't bother you, I'm not sure it doesn't bother me, but if it is a look that doesn't bother you, that is definitely something you can cut.
Yeah.
You think that's a good idea, Ms. Wizard?
Well, we could always try it. If you don't like it, you can take it off.
Right, I mean, just that I kind of like to cover the whole thing. But it doesn't seem to be... What? Why are you laughing at me? Talk.
Because,
Yes.
well,
Yes.
you're funny that way.
I am funny that way. I want the things just the way I want my things. Right? So apparently you can do it even with the riving knife. That shows you that we do our videos really unscripted, I guess is the right term, right?
Yeah.
Because as I was doing it, I realized you can do it and I said, okay, we need to show our fans. It actually can be done even with a riving knife. So they come in a container like this, and I'm going to keep them in this container, right? It's good for safekeeping.
Yeah, it also keeps the dust out.
Right. And also it allows you to see what it is, right, when you store it. So this is our first look at the zero clearance tape from Fast Cap. Zero clearance tape from Fast Cap, right? Mm-hmm. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, we would appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you would like to see, either on our Wednesday Quickies, which is one of these videos, or on our long weekend projects. I wouldn't say long, but weekend project, right? From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, and the Urban Homesteading channel, we bid you well. Stay safe, put your masks on, wash your hands, so we can see you again soon. Farewell, friends.